Hello everyone, welcome to another draft class recap video. My name is John Kitna. Let's get started. All right, Cincinnati Bengals, your turn. This one's pretty easy because we really knew who their first pick in the draft was going to be months ago. Joe Burrow had one of the most memorable college football seasons in recent time. And I think had it not been for Tua Tagovailoa's injury, we would have had a greater discussion about who was going to be the number one overall pick leading up to the draft. But because of the events that we already know occurred, Tua Tagovailoa had the injury, missed the end of the season, ended up going 5 overall to the Miami Dolphins. And that's pretty much cemented, along with the championship game win, cemented Joe Burrow as the number one overall pick in this draft. So there wasn't a lot of speculation leading up to it, which I think is always, kind of disappointing because you want to have a little bit of fun with it and speculate about who's going to go. The year that we had with Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, and Josh Rosen was pretty fun. And then the 24 hours leading up to it was just insane with rumors. But this one, quiet overall. We knew Joe Burrow was going to be the pick. Nobody really sort of got away from that, at least not that I saw. So round one, pick one, Joe Burrow, quarterback from LSU. The rest is history. All we have to do now is wait until the regular season to find out what he's made of. All right, moving on. So they opened up day two, round two, pick 33 with T. Higgins, wide receiver from Clemson. In my bold predictions video, I said that T. Higgins was probably not going to be a first-round pick, and that ended up being the case. It's nothing against him. It's just I don't think he was flashy enough or, sort of brings a different dimension to the game to be a first-round pick. Now, you probably could say that about Brandon Ayuk and Justin Jefferson, sure. But, the wide receiver class was really good this year. There was a lot to pick from, and I probably would have taken a few more guys ahead of T. Higgins, like Michael Pittman Jr., for example. But T. Higgins, with his 6'4" size, his ball catch radius, he's going to prove to be a very valuable asset for Joe Burrow in his first year. And now, if the other wide receivers in Cincinnati can stay healthy, AJ Green, Tyler Boyd, maybe they get something out of John Ross this year. That could be a pretty wild receiving core. I already like the sound of it. John Ross taking the top off the defense, and then T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd doing their work underneath with AJ Green on the sideline. So maybe even T. Higgins, if he develops correctly and transitions smoothly into this league, he could be the eventual replacement for AJ Green, who has been in the league I think 9 or 10 years now, and he's had some injury problems recently. So AJ Green is probably close to being done. So T. Higgins, pretty good pick. Moving on, round 3, pick 65, Logan Wilson, linebacker from Wyoming. Round 4, pick 107, Akeem Davis-Gaither, linebacker from Appalachian State. This was interesting because, and I'm going to include Marcus Bailey in this, is that the Bengals realized or identified that their linebacking group was not the greatest. And even when they had Vontaze Burfict, it was not the greatest. And coming into this draft, as I've been saying a lot in these videos, is that this linebacking group was not one of the best ever. Really suffered when Dylan Moses had to go back to school because of the injury. And so what they decided to do was, we're going to get a bunch of linebackers, and we're just going to hope one of them hits. And one of them probably will. I actually do like the group that they have here for the linebacking position. So that's a strategy that I can respect. You knew going in the positional group was pretty weak. You just said, screw it, let's get a bunch of them and see what happens. It's like throw a dart at the wall. So not a bad draft strategy if you have the draft capital to be able to swing that. Moving on, round 5, pick 147. Khalid Kareem, edge rusher from Notre Dame. I was actually jealous of this one. I was kind of hoping that the Vikings would take him. Not sure why they passed on him all those times, but to get him in round 5 at pick 147, I think is a pretty good steal. If you were to ask me what's the best value pick in this draft, I think it's him. Moving on, round 6, pick 180. You have Hakeem Adeniji, guard from Kansas. I probably just butchered his last name. Great depth pick. And then we've already talked about round 7, pick 215, Marcus Bailey, linebacker from Purdue. Wow. Enunciation problems all over the map. So, is it the best draft ever? It's okay. It's a good draft. A lot of teams, you're going to hear me say, had a good draft. I don't feel like teams made a lot of mistakes. There's a couple we're going to be talking about who I have questions, but overall, in the grand scheme of things, everybody had a pretty decent draft, and the Bengals are no exception. The only thing is that this draft is really anchored to Joe Burrow. Is if he turns out to be a multi-year starter, has a long career in Cincinnati, this draft will look pretty good. If he doesn't, you made the pick that you had to at the time. It was the best pick at the time. I don't fault them for that. I don't ever fault a team going, getting a quarterback in the top 15 of this draft, or any draft, if you will, because, it's better to get the guy that you need now, because you don't know when that situation is going to come again where you have a pick to be able to get one of these quarterbacks, because it's just so hard to find. And it's so hard to sort of will yourself into these positions to get guys like Joe Burrow and Tua Tagovailoa and whoever it may be. So yeah, best value pick, I'd have to go with Kareem, round 5 pick 147. Again, as I said, that was somebody that I wanted for my team, and I like the T Higgins. I like the T Higgins pick. I think I would have went with Michael Pittman Jr. That's just me, but I think he could be a good player at the next level. And then going heavy focus at linebacker is an interesting strategy, and it means that probably eventually, more likely than not, they've stacked the deck in their favor where they're going to come out with a good player in this group. So overall, Cincinnati Bengals, pretty decent draft. No excitement leading up to the Joe Burrow pick, but hey, maybe that's good. Maybe that's a good thing that they didn't have to wheel and deal, and nobody will really second guess them for that. All right, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.